Okay, so I've been getting a lot of questions about these comparing irrational numbers. I'm going to just try to blast through as many as I can on this Khan Academy in about 5 minutes. Hopefully this will help. I apologize. I realize my screen over here where I'm going to be writing as I'm working is a little dark. So hopefully though you can see without any too many issues. Okay, so what I'm being asked to do here is we're going to take these letters, find them on the number line, right? And then we're gonna drag these boxes around to line it up, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and work through each one in turn. So first we're looking at negative 2 pi, okay? What is that? Well, 2 times pi, remember pi is a 3.14 about, so it's 2 times a number a little bit bigger than 3. So 2 times 3 is 6, so it's a little bit bigger than 6, so it's going to be 6 point something. I don't really care what that something is right now. And then a negative times a positive is negative, so that's going to be negative 6. Looking on my number line, if this is negative 6 right here, and this is negative 7 right here, right? 6 point something is right in the middle, so this negative 2 pi is your t. So I'm just dragging it to the t, right? And then I have to look at this negative square root of 25. Okay, so the square root of 25 is 5, right? Because 5 times 5 is 25. So this is going to be negative 5. If I look on the number line, that's the u. So that's going to be on the bottom. And then s should be negative square root of 68. Just to kind of verify that, if I look at my answer key here, right? That's a little, see if we can zoom it in a little bit, right? So here we can see the square root of 64. Here we have the square root of 81. So the square root of 68 is somewhere in between 8 and 9. If I look over on the number line, somewhere in between 8 and 9 is the s. So that all works. So that's the right order. And we go to the next one. Here there's no number line, right? So we're just told to order this around however we want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own number line. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually write these numbers here, and then we're going to create my own number line. Okay, and I'll make this a little bigger here in just a second. So I'm going to be dealing with the square root of 18. I'm going to be dealing with the number 1, and I'm going to be dealing with the square root of 12. Okay, so let's make that a little bigger. All right, so 1 is pretty easy. On a number line, if that's 0, that's 1. This point would be right here, right? The square root of 18, if I pull out my chart again, 18 is bigger than 16 but less than 25, so my answer is going to be 4 point something, right? So I'm just going to say it's going to be 4 point something. I don't really care right now. So on my number line, this would be 2, 3, 4, 5. That point's going to be over here, and then the square root of 12. Okay, so if we look, the square root of 12 is somewhere between 9 and 16. So the answer is going to be 3 point something. Okay, 3 point something. This is going to be 3 point something. We don't care what that something is. Something just means it's somewhere between 3 and 4. So that's right here. Okay, so we can see the 1 is the smallest. The next one is the square root of 12. And then the next one is the square root of 18. Right, so when I go back to Khan Academy, that's the order I'll put them in. 1, square root of 12, square root of 18. Okay, and looking at just the square roots, this makes sense, right? Even if I didn't know what this number was, square root of 12 intuitively makes sense that it should be smaller than the square root of 18, right? Because 18 is bigger than 12. So when I take the square roots of these things, the fact that the 12 is still going to be smaller as I take the square root, hopefully intuitively, right? If we had to guess, that makes sense. Okay, so then coming back over to Khan Academy, we said 1 is the smallest, 12 is in the middle. Checking my time. I got time for one more. Okay, Next question. It's another one of ordering on the number line. So looking at the number line, this one's going to be a little bit trickier just because when I'm looking at the number line, they're all going to be really kind of close to each other in terms of a number line. However, we're really just comparing them to the 10. One of them is going to be exactly 10, one's going to be a little bigger than 10, and one's going to be a little smaller than 10. Okay, so when I'm looking down, I had these pi down here. I might not know what's going on because it's 3.14, so 3 times a number a little bigger than 3. It's going to put us in this region. That one's a little harder to work with. So let's just work with the square roots, right? Now, if I'm looking at those square roots, hopefully we know that the square root of 10 is 10. I'm sorry, the square root of 100 is 10, right? Because 10 times 10 is 100. If not, hopefully got that answer key. So we can see this one right here, the square root of 100. That's your 10, right? That's going to be y. And then it makes sense that 104 is going to be a little bit bigger than 10, right? Because it's the square root of 100 is 10 exactly. The square root of a number a little bigger than 100 should be a little bigger. So that's going to be your z. And then 3 times 3.314 is going to be 9 and a little more. Okay, so that's x. Okay, and that's how that's going to line up. All right, that one really quick. I do want to I was going to be done, but I see this one has a cubed roots, and when I looked on the answers, a lot of people were missing the cubed roots, so I'm going to handle that super fast. So I changed my mind. I'm going to do one more. So I'm going to write the numbers down over here on my sheet, and then I'm going to make that screen a little bigger so we can talk through it. And then the square root of 8. Okay, so let's make this a little bigger so you guys can see it a little better. All right, pi is 3.14. So if that's 3, that's 4. Pi is somewhere right here in the middle. There's your pi. Okay, the square root of 8. So when I come over to my answer key, the square root of 8 is a little bit smaller than the square root of 9. So it's going to be a little smaller than 3, right? So it's going to be somewhere between 2 and 3. So on my number line, that's 2, that's 3, then the square root of 8 somewhere in the middle. It's a little smaller. It's not way smaller, so that'll be my square root of 8. And now we just got to figure out this cubed root of 27. Okay, and so what I'm asking myself is what number multiplied by itself 3 times equals 27, right? It's the what number cubed. Okay, cubing and cubed rooting are opposites. So what number multiplied by itself? This is kind of a guess and check. I know the answer because I've worked with enough of these to know. But if you don't know the answer, you just kind of guess. So you start out with, like, say, these things get really big really fast. So don't start with big numbers, right? Start with 1. 1 times 1 times 1, right, is 1. Okay. And then 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 again is 8. So that's still too small. Let's try 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Times 3 is 27. So there you go. It's actually 3 exactly, right? So to show you what's going on, if I put little 3's in this little box, 3 times 3, that's 9. 9 times that last 3 is 27. Okay, so this actually equals 3 exactly. If I would have known how close these were all to each other, I would have given myself a little bit of room on that number line. But here, right in the middle, is going to be the cubed root of 27. So when I go back to Khan Academy, we'll put the square root of 8 is the smallest, then the cubed root of 27 is in the middle, and pi is actually the biggest one. And then we're just going to order those. So this is the smallest one. Oh, I'm sorry, actually this square root of 8 was the smallest one. Looking over here at my number line. Cubed root of 27 is in the middle, and then pi is over here. Okay, so check that out. See if you can do a little better on the Khan Academy stuff.